Larry and Al, Search for Truth. So we've been going on this for a bit. We're at number 16 today, and I'm glad to be here with my good friend. And a lot of things we've been talking about, and I would imagine, a pretty crazy time in the world. Everywhere around you look, there's stuff going on. And anyway, I thought we'd kind of do a little climate of the day politically. So I'm going to start with my quote, which is anonymous. I found it. I can't really say who wrote it.
Thank God for anonymous, huh?
Thank God for anonymous, because the words sometimes speak the truth louder than the actions. So the quote goes like this: propaganda, misinformation, and fake news have the potential to polarize public opinion, to promote violent extremism and hate speech, and ultimately to undermine democracies and reduce trust in the democratic processes. So you minute to digest that. And so we got a big birthday coming up for Al, number 80, real quick here. So what's your thoughts about the climate of the day from your perspective of 80 years on this earth?
Well, I remember when I was born, and I remember I used to sleep in a dresser drawer when I was a little baby. And I used to have paper diapers because I moved to San Diego when I was 8 months old. My dad was was in World War II, and my mother was just 17.
Mm,
She had just graduated from high school at 16, got married, and I was born when she was 17.
wow.
And so that started my journey in San Diego. And I think I remember I was about 2.5 years old when I hooked up when my dad got out to service. So, but I remember. Let me reflect on something. I remember when I was first born, I was called Negro. Then I was called colored. Then I was called Afro American. Then I was called black. Okay, but I always was called nigger.
Mm,
And think about that.
that was the
80
common
years of
one.
my life.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
I'm just that's just a frame of reference. When you ask me about my life, 80 years, that's where I'm at. Okay, I'm still on the ground floor. You got what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's amazing. We got like a guy that's running from. I saw this guy that was on the Senate thing. He was a black guy. He had been in the army. He went to West Point, and he said all three of his siblings went to West Point, and he said I got 5 or 6 IDs, and said I don't have any problem getting an ID to vote. Okay, but what he doesn't understand is that the way the voting is set up for black folks down south is set up for them not to be able to vote. Do you understand what I'm saying, Larry?
Explain, explain those
They
kind of hurdles. What kind of hurdles? What do they have to
well, you gotta
do
have.
to get
First of
ballot?
all, you gotta have a birth certificate. You gotta have a picture ID. You gotta have a job. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Every time you accomplish what they ask you to accomplish, then they ask for the next thing.
You just keep
And
moving
so,
down the road.
so that's why it's so difficult for black folks to vote down south. It's always been that way. Okay, before back in the day of Jim Crow, you had to be able to read and write.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
And so, how many black folks back then was able to read and write and even go to school? Okay, but what I'm saying is that every time we master the skill, they make up another one. You got what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think that it's confusing to other people that they say, well, how come? Well, you got to remember, black people have not been as free as you, Larry. You got what I'm talking about?
Right.
Okay, we go back to I'll go back to the integration thing. Okay, you remember when integration came in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what it did, it destroyed the black community in the South. Why? Because the people that became integrated were not told where the new freeways were going to be made. You got what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So the freeways went bypass them. Okay, so if they had businesses, they no longer had business. You got what I'm saying? Except for the mortuary.
Mm-hmm. So they destroyed the black businesses?
Well, if you don't, if you're not on the route with the freeway, how who's gonna go out of the way to go where you live? That's why they started the freeways, the malls, and all those kind of things came up.
Mm-hmm.
You've been down south, haven't you?
Not that much, and it's been. I mean,
Okay, well, when I was
built.
growing up, you could go down south and you could make the connection within the local community with the black population. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the stores, cleaners, those kind of things. And so you that's where you spent your money. You got what I'm talking about?
Right.
So when integration came in, okay, they moved the markers. What I mean by the markers, they just started making the freeways a different direction.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Highway 66 no longer existed. You got what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
The old Highway 66.
yeah, you should take it all the way from Chicago to San Bernardino.
Right.
Okay, but getting back to what you asked me, think about the guy that's the black guy that's running for governor is in South Carolina. I think it's South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hear him talk, you wouldn't you wouldn't even know he was black. He sounds just like Trump, a
Mm-hmm.
Holocaust denier, a gender basher. Hitler is great. All those kind of things. Women have no rights. They don't deserve to be in the workforce. And I'm thinking to myself, how did how did how did how did how did you get that way?
Yeah.
Well, the thing that's happening is that all these people that are running in the Republican Party are patterning themselves after Trump are grifters. You know what a
Mm-hmm.
grifter is, don't you?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, they want to make them. Everybody wants to make their money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much money do you think Donald Trump has made off of being president?
I would have no idea.
More money than he did when he had his own businesses.
Yeah. That's. I
Okay,
think. Yeah, I would imagine that's true. Yeah.
okay, because he's got people paying his legal fees.
Mm-hmm.
Send me your money. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's got his daughter-in-law head of the Republican committee. You got what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got all that. He's got control of all that right there. Now, if he becomes president again, guess what he's going to have control of? Yours and mine's taxes,
Hmm.
because he'll become a dictator.
Right. Which he says he will.
Huh?
Which he says he
Oh,
will.
yeah. He said,
They would-
oh, I'm only going to be a dictator for one day, but you can do enough in one day to destroy democracy.
Right. Well,
Okay?
we started off with that quote about propaganda, misinformation, fake news. Talk about the narrative. You hear the term. That's the narrative. So, what does that mean? The narrative.
What it mean? The narrative? Well, the narrative is there's a battle between democracy and autocracy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the narrative. Who believes in autocracy and who believes in democracy? Okay? It's always, what is always the thing in life? It's always a battle between what? Good and evil.
Hmm.
Okay? Now, can you imagine yourself in an autocracy where you have to be off the streets at 6 o'clock before it gets dark?
Hmm.
You have to have permission, or you have to have a pass to go to the store, and you can and any thoughts that you have are not free thoughts. You cannot express them.
There are people though that know that, but still don't seem to have a problem with it, or realize that is the case, or could be
Oh,
the
oh,
case.
it doesn't affect you until it happens.
Right.
Okay, okay. What happened? What did Hitler do? He was a regular old guy until he broke down all the barriers, and then he became the one. Okay,
Hmm.
so I mean, Donald Trump is telling you he has never ever not told you what he was going to do.
Right. I mean, he's already making predictions for his cabinet and
Oh
who he's
yeah,
going to put here and who.
everybody that will say yes, sir.
Right.
He's already destroyed the structure of the infrastructure of the people that support the government. Okay, he's got rid of anybody who doesn't say yes, sir, is gone,
Hmm.
and he's telling us that.
Right.
Okay, but you got to remember one thing, Larry. They want to make America great again, and what it really means is that we, the white folks, want to go back to where it used to be, where we were in charge, and we could tell everybody what it is that we to do, and we could tell people, even though we were not the police, we could tell people where they could live, where they could go to eat at a restaurant, where they could sit, or when they could leave their house.
And
Do
you
you,
think
do you see that,
that's where
Larry?
it will go? You think that's where it will go?
No, 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 Larry. I don't think that's where it's going to go. That's where, when somebody tells you what they're going to do, I'm not thinking.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's fighting so hard to become president?
Well, I think probably a big reason is because he feels that once he's president, he's untouchable.
Okay? The trial, January 6th was the trial run. He just missed it.
Yeah. Right.
Okay? Now he's got people in place.
Hmm.
Okay? Speaker of the House, all the Republicans. Okay? Do his bidding.
Minions.
Well, minions or whatever you want to call them, Fox News. Okay?
Well, that's the thing about in the quote about fake news, and I don't know if I mean maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember that term being used prior to, let's say, the 2020 election. or no, I'm sorry, the 2016 election.
No,
They
no.
Trump fake.
Okay, okay, Larry. I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to say. When he came down the elevator, he said he already told you what was going to happen. If I don't win, pay attention to what I'm saying. If I don't win, then the Democrats are cheating. He
And
said
that was
that when he came
right,
down the elevator, right?
right.
Okay, and he kept on saying that, right, all the
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
So what it is, it's embedded in people's mind that we're cheating. Nobody's cheating. The only person cheating is him.
And that, to me, you because that's often mentioned about coming down the elevator, as a kind of a, a ground zero, if you will, and that's the beginning of the fake news outlet.
Right.
That was basically a lie that was planted preemptive. That was
Well,
before the election.
What else did he say, Larry? He said, don't believe anything you read or see. Just believe what I say."
Right, right. And that, to me, is the beginning or the birth of the fake news, um, platform, if you will. And then
Right.
always saying all the other networks and broadcasts were all fake unless they came from him. He was the only
Well,
one
no, no,
speaking
okay.
the truth. He was the one speaking the truth.
Okay,
The truth.
Fox bought into it, but all the other networks were playing politically correct. You got what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of saying, well, let's see the receipts, okay?
Hmm.
And what happens when you have a truculent little 2-year-old?
Hmm.
You know what the terrible twos are, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, once you let that little 2-year-old go from A to D without any structuring, what's he gonna do? What is he gonna do from there?
Keep on pushing
He,
it. Keep on pushing
you
it.
gonna keep on pushing until you decide that you need to put a stop to it, and you better be careful how you do it.
Right. No, enough is enough. Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, they're starting to wake up now, but it's damn near too late
Yeah.
because if he doesn't, he's talking about what did he say the other day? If I don't win, there's going to be a bloodbath.
Right.
Okay, what do you
Now
mean if you
there
don't?
are detractors though that are saying he was referencing the auto industry having to
No,
do
no, 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 no,
with
no, no,
detractors.
no,
They're
no.
saying that's what they do.
Okay, okay. You see, every time he's speaking his mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
okay. He's not talking about no automobile industry.
They
What
call
he's
that the
saying,
dog whistle, right? The dog
that's a
whistle.
dog whistle. That's a dog whistle to all the people. Get ready. If I don't win, get ready.
Hit the streets. That's what he did on January 6th.
Right.
And there's some people arguing against that. That was what calling it what it wasn't. But to me, that's fake news. But um, that's embedded into this quote about the promotion of violent extremism. And now you talk about a bloodbath and what that entails and what that is an innuendo for. Um, it's awful.
I believe that if he becomes president again, he will marshal the National Guard all over the country.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So let me
And
let me let me switch gears here because I'm thinking about something. So in your younger days in the political landscape, there's always been, as far as I can remember, or go back in history, Democrats and Republicans. Okay, there was a Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Have you ever in your life seen such a division between the two? In other words, wasn't there a time when different sides could reach across the aisle, so to speak, and find compromise and common ground and saying what's best for the republic. And
Okay.
is it different today?
Well, let me explain. The Republican Party today is the old Democratic Party. You
Right.
got what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The Dixiecrats.
Right.
Okay, that was the segregationists.
Right. Segregationists. Yes.
Okay, and the Republicans were the northern people that kind of had a little conservative tinge.
Hmm.
Okay, so everything switched around. The Democrats became the Republicans, and the Republicans became the Dixiecrats became the Republicans, and the Republicans became the Democrats. You got what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that was the switch. The South became all powerful after segregation, after Jim Crow.
And when did that take place, or when did that begin
The
to happen?
'60s, the middle '60s on.
So do you go back to Goldwater in '60, or I
Yeah,
mean,
you
you
go
look
back to
at people like
Goldwater, '60s,
Eisenhower, for
'70s.
example,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'56, right? Eisenhower was a Republican, correct?
He was a Republican in 1952. Yeah,
Yeah, right. So he was the prototype Republican at that time,
he was a conservative Republican.
conservative Republican. And who was representing the Democratic Party then?
Keith Offer. There was Keith Offer. Who else?
Well,
Uh,
Harry Truman was he came in after FDR, and he was a Democrat, right?
he was a Democrat. Eisenhower took over,
Right.
and then who else came after
And you had
Eisenhower?
you had Kennedy in '60, right? So what
Oh
what
yeah,
what,
then,
what did Kennedy represent?
yeah, then they killed Kennedy, and then Johnson came in, and then after Johnson, the Peanut
Nixon.
Man, and then after the Peanut Man came
Well, Nixon
Reagan.
after Johnson, right?
No, came Reagan.
But I mean, Nixon was after LBJ. He ran against Hubert Humphrey, right? And so it was Nixon, and then
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah, maybe,
then it was Jimmy
yeah, yeah,
Carter.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, but I'm just thinking of the political trajectory of Republican division between Republicans and Democrats, and now where we're at, where the two the two candidates right now, they literally hate each other. I mean, and they say, really, I mean, the dignity of the presidency has been lost because there some of the things, the names and descriptions,
Well,
there's
well,
no
well, well,
decorum. I guess is what
well,
I'm looking at.
well, the Republican Party is based on power only. Okay, they had nothing to do with the middle class or anything. It's power to the elite, and then that's all. That's the only thing they're concerned about.
Became a
Okay,
party of the rich, right?
yeah, yeah.
And the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of the people. But I mean, is that
As far
correct?
as far, hey, they're the only ones that do any social programs. Okay, you get what I'm saying?
But I hear and I read sometimes that the black electorate, they 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 usually will vote Democratic, but and again, this is just samples of voices in the black electorate who are tired of the promises that the Democrats make, but then they only make them at the time of election, and then they're forgotten. So, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Well, that's the truth.
And yeah, let's talk about that's the truth. That's what we're searching for. So,
Yeah, that's the truth.
how and why is that the truth?
Huh?
How and why is that the truth?
Well, because it's just like anything else. After you done bake the cake, somebody's gonna eat it, but then they tell you, "Oh, I don't like that cake."
Hmm.
Okay, because they want to use black folks. Okay, But what happens is that they cannot get they cannot govern without the the Republican Party being a part of the process. Okay, everybody says, "Do you know how much? Do you know how much the national debt rose with Trump?"
Yeah, right.
Okay, it was out of sight.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean he was just printing money on top of money.
Hmm.
Okay, now it's coming down a tad. Okay, but the people that benefited from all of the things that he did were what? The billionaires and the elite people. Okay, he even took away California's itemized tax deductions.
Right, right.
All
And
all,
that
all the people in the blue states can no longer itemize their taxes.
right,
Okay, because they're the blue state. Okay, and the poorest states in the United States are the red states.
right,
California supports most of the country.
right, right.
Okay,
Hmm.
Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas. Okay, the people that live in those places are damn near illiterate.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, we're getting close to the finish here, but I wanted to just kind of go back to this quote and something I just thought about because I saw a clip today uh, on Fox News. To be honest with you, I was at the gym and they had Fox News on, and they were talking about our response to the COVID pandemic,
Uh-huh.
epidemic, and then how it was mishandled, and now there's no trust in the authorities, and so on and so forth.
Well, who mishandled it?
Well, that's the question, and I kind of always believe that had Trump done a better job of managing the response to it, he probably would have won the election.
Oh,
And
he would have won the election if.
yeah,
Okay, you got to remember his personality is that nothing in my watch is going to be bad.
right,
Okay, but you can't stop Mother Nature.
yeah,
You can't stop nature.
right,
Okay, and so he was always saying, "Oh, everything's under control," but it wasn't, and he made Fauci a scapegoat. You got what I'm saying?
right,
The people that was telling him what he needed to be doing, he didn't. The only people he listened to was the people that told him what he wanted to hear.
right.
Okay,
His own
nobody.
biases, yeah, right.
Okay, nobody on the right side of the ledger wants to blame Trump for anything.
Well, that's just the whole thing, and that's the fake news and the misinformation, and how it does reduce or eliminate the trust in the democratic process. But so these lies that are constantly spun, uh, it throws people into, well, what do I believe, and what is the truth? And that's kind of, as we sat here and we wrapped this up. This was kind of a heavy discussion, but it I don't know. It's
Okay, Larry.
our ability to trust in our authorities and in our elected officials.
Okay,
The trust.
what I'm gonna say in the parting is that the more educated you are, the less likely you're gonna be involved in fake news.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
like I told you before, Trump came along and he took advantage of people who had one agenda. They wanted to be in charge.
Yep.
They don't care. They didn't care how it happened. All they wanted to do was we want to be great again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It does.
Okay.
We'll, we'll leave we'll leave it there, and
Okay.
it was a good discussion. Thank Elijah for his help in the technical aspects of our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow us. And also contact Elijah, and he can help you set up your own podcast. And I hope people continue to watch. It was a pleasure talking with you, Al. And until next time, take care of yourself. Be
All
peaceful.
right, champ. Peace out.
Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.